Hello, everyone. It is time for us to begin the Tokyo Asset Management Forum 2022.
Hi,
Mr.
everyone.
Mr.
Go
Keiichi
ahead.
Aritomo, the Executive Director of FincCity.Tokyo, will give an opening remarks on behalf of the organizers. Mr. Aritomo, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Amy. Hi, my name is Keiichi Aritomo. I'm the host of this event. Not only me, but this event is hosted by FincCity.Tokyo. Today we have about 700 people sign up, more than 700 people sign up. And out of 700, about 40 participants are asset owners. And remainders are many different kind of people involved in asset management industry. So what is FincCity.Tokyo? I'd like to give you some overview of who we are. FincCity.Tokyo is the basically private-public partnership jointly established mainly with Tokyo Metropolitan Government and major financial institutions headquartered in Tokyo. Our mission is to promote Tokyo as a global financial center, also continuously enhance our ecosystem for market participants. Okay. So next page, please. So I like to next page. Sorry, I like to give you some background as to why we are doing this event. This is actually our fifth Tokyo Asset Management Forum, and it's getting better and better. But we have been promoting Tokyo, and we have been at the same time making policy recommendation to both central government and local government. One of the measures for our mission, one of the measures to enhance Tokyo as a financial center is to employ emerging managers program, which has been the most challenging one, right? It has been, we have been inspired by many other financial cities across the world employing emerging managers program. And today we like to share what we have learned based upon our interview with those people who are conducting or leading emerging managers program as well. Okay. So next page. Next page, please. So we have conducted interview with 14 asset owners across the globe, encompassing many kind of segments such as pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, endowment, etc., across various regions, Americas, EMEA, Asia. So altogether, the AUM of our interview participants are $4.6 trillion, which is a huge amount of money, close to Japanese GDP. Okay, so this is a significant effort, significant outcome as well. And the reason why we conducted this interview is there's a little documentation or literature about emerging managers program. I'm going to explain why we cannot find easily about the experience, the insight of emerging managers program later, shortly. Next page, please. First question is the definition of emerging managers. We thought that when we launched this endeavor few years ago, we were under impression that emerging managers are small, less than $1 billion AUM, and new, such as less than 3 to 5 years since the establishment. But based upon our interview with global international asset owners, we had to adjust our understanding a little bit. So in terms of tenure of emerging managers, most of the asset owners have very flexible definition of who they are, emerging managers. So it doesn't have to be less than 5 years. There's typically no explicit limit of tenure since the establishment of foundation. So we have to adjust our understanding as well, because it depends on the life cycle of emerging managers. And in terms of asset AUM, it's typically less than 1, but especially for North America, definition is much broader. It could be less than $2 billion or even $3 billion as well. Next page. This finding is quite fascinating, right? Internal versus external asset allocation. As you see, the vertical dimension is AUM, and horizontal dimension is allocation between internal versus external. So as you see, the larger asset owners tend to have more internal allocations. But one kind of anomaly is the largest asset owner in the world, which happens to be in Japan, GPIF, which is allocating 100% to external managers. But they are the biggest, largest in the world. Next page is quite important. So the percentage of allocation to emerging managers. So typically, it's around 50 basis points. And we also understand that there's a continuous debate among those international asset owners as to what the right size of the allocation. Is it less than 50 basis points or more than 50 basis points or things like that? So it's a little bit moving back and forth like pendulum, but it has never been zero, right? So right now, Japanese asset owners do not necessarily explicitly allocate to emerging managers, but it shouldn't be zero as well. I think we should, given the time constraint, we should skip to the slide 12. Next slide 12, next page. So this is quite eye-opening as well. So why asset owners are allocating to emerging managers? And we thought that this is for industry ecosystem enhancement or talent development or giving opportunity for diversified managers. However, those answers are quite smaller than the number of most important answers are alpha generation. So emerging manager program is not necessarily only for the society, but also the performance of asset owners or risk-adjusted return of the asset owners. Plus, we have few other relevant answers like a capability and capacity for asset owners. So those are the key takeaways from our interview. But next page, last page, please. So next page. Yeah, so this is actually important page. Make sure that you follow FincCity.Tokyo SNS site. So we have been trying to reach out to many people and engage different kind of stakeholders for Tokyo Financial Center. So today we just marked 6,000 followers for LinkedIn and 7,000 followers for Twitter. So we continuously disseminate very important information about Tokyo Financial Center or relevant ecosystem related matters. So please follow us. And another thing is that please stay through the end of this event because there's quite important information we are going to share today. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for your participation. Okay, back to you, Emi. And I forgot to quickly introduce who Emi Onozuka is. She is quite prominent in Japan, especially within asset management industry. And she's known as Venus for ESG. But most importantly, from my perspective, she's a brilliant jazz singer too. Okay, back to you, Emi.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Aritomo-san, for your kind introduction. Again, my name is Emi Onozuka. I'm the COO for Japan Catalyst of Monex Group. I'll be moderating today's session. Before continuing on with the presentation, if you may, I would love to introduce our company, Japan Catalyst, and our efforts so far. Next page, please. So Japan Catalyst is a 100-owned subsidiary of Monex Group and has been in operation just over 2 years. We are an engagement fund investing into Japanese listed equity for all cap sizes and industries. We have over $100 million of assets under management. There are 3 avenues to access our strategy: domestic publicly offered mutual fund, privately placed mutual fund, and Cayman-based vehicle. There are 3 key points as to our uniqueness and strength. 1, the majority of our assets is coming from Japanese individual investors, which means that for our engagement, the power is not just the voting number of shares, but also the voice of Japanese society, investors, customers, and employees of those companies that are engaged. Secondly, Oki Matsumoto, our chairman and the CEO of Monex Group, is our open secret weapon. Oki leads the engagement efforts by leveraging his wide network within Japanese corporate sector to access the top level management, as well as being in the capital markets for over 30 years. We have had few successful cases of engagement by building trust and making concrete proposal to increase shareholder and corporate value at the same time. Thirdly, since the inception of the strategy in April 2020, we have had strong performance since inception to year end, plus 20% for each of 2020 and 2021. We look forward to interaction with all of you as an individuals or institutional investors around the globe. I'll leave a contact information in the chat. Thank you.